G'day, I'm installing some mud flaps on my S650 Mustang today, or more correctly, splash guards. And these come from Rokblokz in the US. They do ship to Australia. They come in a variety of colours. You can get them front only, rear only, or as a set of 4. They use factory mounting points, so no drilling is required. This is not a sponsored video. All the things you see me installing on my Mustang, I've bought myself. Now, Rokblokz also do mud flaps. I do like being able to get the mud flaps with a red logo, and that would have complemented the Brembo calipers and the racing shift knob that I fitted. But the larger, chunkier flaps would be better suited on an SUV instead of a Mustang. You can see the difference between the two styles here. As expected, shipping costs out of the US are horrendous. All up, taking advantage of a Black Friday 25% off, flaps themselves and the shipping came to US 151, which worked out to about 233 Aussie dollars with our shitty exchange rate. And have a look at this. On the driver's side, just behind the front wheel, a stone chip. So these splash guards should minimise the risk of that happening. This is hard to see on a white car, but after being out on wet roads, which is, unavoidable, the arse end is dirtier than elsewhere. Splash guards at the rear should minimise this as well. Rokblokz have their own install video. All I'm doing is showing that you can fit these without having to lift your vehicle up and taking the rear wheels off. I'd suggest watching their video to get an overview of what's involved and then refer to the PDF for better detail. QR codes for those are on the supplied information sheet. The front flaps, and I'm just going to call them flaps, they're really easy to install. All you need to do is start your car up, turn the wheels to full lock one direction. You can actually fit both sides with the wheels just in the one direction. You don't need to get in, start the car up, turn the wheels to opposite lock to do the other side. Very easy to do with the wheels just in one direction. All the hardware is supplied: brackets, screws, clips, the dress washers. I only wish the stainless steel screws were black. The tools used were a trim removal tool, a medium-sized flathead screwdriver, a stubby Phillips head screwdriver, a 1/4-inch ratchet with a 9/32 socket and a 50mm extension, and a makeshift right-angle Phillips. That's using a driver bit inside an old 1/4-inch socket and some bullnose pliers. Also had a icy pole stick on standby. With the front, screwing that clip on, and I've already fitted the front flaps as you can see, so I'll just use this as a demonstration. Screwing the clip on, it's pretty hard to tighten up. So what I did, using the soft jaws in the vise, put the clip in there, tighten up the vise to stop the clip from rotating as I screwed it up. So that will help you. Either that or maybe use some pliers, because it is pretty tough to screw up. With the rear, prepare the Z brackets by putting the clips on, and in general they suggest using a flathead screwdriver to open the clips up to help get them on. Now I did that, I was still having trouble, and I used the rubber mallet for a little bit of persuasion, but I was a little bit heavy-handed and one of the clips broke into 2 halves. So what I did was use some cello tape, wrap that around the 2 halves, and it kept the 2 halves on until the install, where the screw would just pierce through the tape and you screw it up, no problem. Can't believe I didn't think of sitting on a bucket 3 wheels ago. Bit of a slow learner, I guess. All right, job number 1. Let's remove the clip. It's a tough one to pull out. There's no inner pin or anything, it's just the clip itself. Then we have the 2 9/32 screw. This is where the 50mm extension is just the perfect length for the bottom one. Using your finger to find it. For the top one, we don't need the extension. Screw number 2. All the dirt and stuff. So the idea is that clip goes on here. This bit is easier to do on the ground. What I've done, I've used a paddle pop stick or an ice cream stick to put the clip on for 2 reasons. A, to spread it, to help get it on, and also the clip helps me just position it in there. Pull the clip out, it's already spread, and this still needs quite a bit of convincing to get on. There you go, one press and you're done. That liner goes back over. Now we can install our Z brackets. So using the original hardware, our 9/32, big bracket goes down the bottom. Using the 50mm extension, I'll just get that in by hand. Just going to tighten this up by hand. Now the smaller clip goes up the top. And you can see that the 50mm extension is, it just, hopefully you can see that, just doesn't get in there. Do it up by hand. There we go. All right, with the flap, screw, dress washer, large washer, spacer. Goes into the middle, at the bottom. Just going to do that up by finger, middle hole, screw, dress washer, large washer at the back. Just looking for the retainer clip. Got it. It's just in. Now the top. Screw, dress washer, and the big washer at the back. Looking for the retainer clip, which is there. So you're not going to, even with a stubby screwdriver, it's difficult to get it in there. So what I've done, I'm using a 1/4" socket, and there's just a normal little Phillips driver bit, just as a makeshift right-angled screwdriver, which we'll get in here for the bottom two. Kind of nice if you can align the dress washers so they're orientated the same way, which I've done a really bad job of. There we go. All right, now the top one. That's where these little bullnose pliers come in handy. It's called improvisation. And this is an old socket too, so I'm not going to ruin one of my good ones. There you go, as you can see, it's pretty easy. You certainly don't need to lift your car up or take the rear wheels off. It'd probably take you much longer to do that than just install the bloody things. Rokblokz describes these as black. I would call them charcoal. You know, it's just not black. But I think it fits in well with the rear diffuser anyway. I've read some posts on the Mustang 7G forum that say if you fit mud flaps, splash guards, whatever you want to call them, that negates the need to fit the Fender hole liner cover kit from DIY Van at the front. But let's go and have a look at that. You can see that I've already fitted the patch kit from DIY Van, and I can't imagine any mud flap or splash guard, whatever you want to call them, extending that far in to cover that up. So you're really going to need that patch kit from DIY Van if you want to address that issue. Hope you found this informative and interesting. You'll see me in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.